We meet again.
The Yeti.
We bring our energy drinks? Right, good.
Dude, are you stoked to see what we have or what?
Yeah.
Because you haven't.
You haven't seen it. Yeah.
Good. Because I want to see the whole of it.
Alright.
We knew we were amateurs, that we may not have had all the equipment the pros do, the necessary tactics to procure the responses we were looking for. However, little did we know this one night would show us something we'd never forget, and we felt it couldn't be justified if we didn't share what we captured.
Even when we were here though, like the night of, I walked away pretty much, I mean we talked about it on the way home, I pretty much said like, I'm not sure anything was there.
Right.
Honestly, I was like, I wasn't getting anything, like I wasn't hearing or seeing anything the entire time. Maybe we just have the wrong approach or we don't know what we're doing. I'm telling you I've spent, between me and Pegs, we probably spent, I don't know, 60 man hours or more going through all the stuff that we have. My impression is different now. It is different now. And
to fill my time. You take what is yours and I'll take mine. Now let me at the truth which will refresh my broken mind. So tie me to a post and block my ears. I can see where those endorphins through my tears.
Night vision on. Activated.
Okay. You're going to go get the flashlight with you?
After getting the rundown of the high activity areas from Matt, we set up 5 static IR cameras, including 2 upstairs, one aimed down the hallway, and the other into the office area where he mentioned a lot of activity goes on. We also set one up on the main floor facing the stage, where a group who previously investigated the building supposedly caught a couple of orbs. The final 2 IR cameras were placed in the basement, one of them pointing at a cinder block holding in place the door that opens into the slave tunnel, and the last one pointed into another basement room.
Yep. Hey.
Let's go.
let's go sweep this bitch. I think I'm gonna flip out of this and go to the black.
Do you need some background music to do that?
The excitement of officially going lights out got us giddy, but we knew it was time for some action.
Let's go hunt some ghosts.
Alright.
Alright, sorry, now we're just doing an EMF sweep.
So I was just gonna take a couple.
We weren't kidding anyone. We knew we were rookies. All we had to go off of is what we saw on some of our favorite TV shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, as far as techniques of trying to interact with any spirits goes. We started out by taking some digital photos and doing an EMF sweep. We made our way through the building, making sure to cover every base.
Yeti, out of the stage. Alright.
Well, let him stand there and take it. That's fine.
I guess maybe we'll see an
Yeah.
apparition like,
Right.
like
Come, you
this.
can compare it.
Look at
Holy crap.
that. I know.
Shot, I was doing a test of the vacuum pool.
The digital photos were met with some pretty interesting, but ultimately inconclusive results, which we will show later. The photographs did become much more intriguing once we captured other pieces of evidence throughout the night. In the meantime, we continued our way through the historical 160-plus-year-old building.
A lot more here. I like this hallway. I don't know why.
After heading upstairs, Yeti, for no apparent reason, made this comment about the hallway near the offices, catching his attention. Little did he know his sense was right, as we'd catch one of the most compelling pieces of evidence of the night around that area. However, at this point, our initial walkthrough was more comical relief at times than anything else, which might have helped mask our anxiousness.
Did you die taking a poop?
We kept the initial walkthrough going, making our way through the office area. Prior to the investigation, Matt shared a story about how the light switch to this bathroom would turn on and off by itself on more than one occasion, when they were packing up to leave for the night. When I asked him if he has had an electrician to check it out, he said he didn't have to, that he was an electrician. Also, at this early juncture, this vicinity seems to be harmless, but it is yet another area where we would catch some of our best evidence during our investigation.
No, this was never here. This is part of this here section over is part of the original house.
Mm-hmm.
So what they ended up doing after they bought the place, they ended up putting a door in. As you can see the difference in height here. Put the door in, and this, when it was part of the funeral home or crematorium, this used to be the caretaker's den here. That's why it has a staircase coming up here.
Now done with our initial sweep of the upstairs, we decided to do our first EVP session while in the original part of the building.
Is there anyone here with us? And if you are, could you say your name? Were you a soldier in the Civil War? Are you upset that we're here? Do you want us to leave?
We don't mean you any harm. I thought I'd throw that in there.
Alright, and
We wrapped our first session having recorded no EVPs or any other evidence. However, the night was very young as we decided to head to the basement next.
I feel like it's gonna get a little more freaky down here.
dude,
The basement of the Union Hall is one of the more fascinating areas. Most of the original brickwork can still be seen. One of the more intriguing aspects about the building is the slave tunnel, which was part of the Underground Railroad. Unfortunately, most of it collapsed when road construction took place decades ago, as it wasn't known until then that the tunnels existed.
You guys want to see something really creepy that we didn't notice the first time?
What's that?
There's an
there's a
axe.
fucking axe in the middle of the floor.
I just like walked in, that's the first thing I see.
Also, I need a picture of these guys too. These little fellas.
Crutches.
Yeah. Just for like keepsake purposes, I feel like we absolutely.
Nick was still taking some digital photos, including one of this eerie old axe leaning solitary against the wall. However, it wasn't until reviewing our photos that we noticed this interesting piece of evidence. Out of all the photos we took in the basement, only in this one did something appear. If you look down the hallway near the crutches, it seems as though an orb appears. And as you can see, the size of this orb is the most compelling aspect of the picture. The theory in the paranormal field goes that ghosts travel in these orbs because it takes less energy. Later, we will show you a couple of more digital photos just like this.
That's just a pipe heater or something like that.
That makes sense.
There is, like, there's outlets. Oh yeah, it is. It's that right there. It's that heat tape.
Okay.
Keeps the pipes from freezing.
So is this where they burn people?
I think so, because he said, like, basically, see where this is boarded up or
Right.
cindered up right there?
Right.
He said that these were ovens where they have
Right.
these things cindered up. So, like, this basically would have been, according to that,
An oven.
an oven. Where people were burned.
This century-and-a-half-old building has had many uses, including functioning as a crematorium. The ovens were located in the basement, and we decided this would be a good spot for another EVP session. The feeling of being in that small room where people were burned was tense, to say the least.
All right, so this is EMF 2. We are in the oven or burning chambers, I guess. Is anyone down here with us? Can you give a tug on one of our shirts?
There's a device over here with a red light on it. If you want to come talk to it, we can hear you.
New generation.
Again, we caught no audio or visual evidence, although after this EVP session, we seemed like we were getting our bearings and had a good feeling about this century-and-a-half-old building as we devised our next plan that would lead us to some captivating evidence.
Alright.
After regrouping, we decided to venture upstairs again. Yeti and App thought if we were going to catch something, this is where it would be. They were right. We decided to split up into 3 separate but close areas. I sat in Matt's office, Yeti sat in the hallway, and Nick would go back into the office area by the other IR camera. After getting set up and asking questions for about 15 minutes, we didn't catch anything. We knew based on what Matt has told us and what he's been told by other eyewitnesses that this area is filled with activity. So to this point, the lack of any seemingly significant personal experiences or evidence was frustrating, although we knew we had to be patient.
Yeah.
No, I was one of the,
Yeah.
because that one time, like I said, I came up here, because these doors here are all locked, they're rented out. And I came up here one day, and these doors were all open, and my doors that they're generally closed, were open, and the ones that were supposed to have been open or closed. It was ass backwards. I have never seen the soldier.
Yeah.
I've been up here for 4 years, and I haven't seen the soldier. But the president before me was here for 10 years. And he said he was late here like 1 or 2 in the morning, and that's when he, looked up and he was standing right in the doorway there.
jeez.
So
I
it's
mean,
like,
Are you the one that turns the lights on and off in the bathroom? You guys hear anything?
You had that annoying clock.
Yeti makes this observation of the clock in the front office making a typical ticking noise. Just a bit later, his ADD was wearing thin in the middle of our EVP session, so he decided to get up. Not even a minute later, we would capture a piece of amazing footage. He can no longer stand the ticking sound, so he walks into the front office area. After his announcement of his intentions with said clock, we capture our first ever EVP, which was Class A.
How did you die? It's me walking. Me, for purposes of the night, taking this battery out of this clock because it's annoying as fuck.
At this point, we had no idea someone was upstairs with us. After reviewing the audio, we were ecstatic to get this evidence. Little did we know, our post-investigation review would show us something so gripping that it was hard to rationalize.
How did you die? It's me walking. Me, for purposes of the night, taking this battery out of this clock because it's annoying as fuck. I can hear a little bit better.
Watching all 10 hours of footage from this IR camera, there's absolutely nothing that looks even remotely similar to this orb. Plus, it seems there's no coincidence that this orb appears and leaves right as we capture the EVP. Here's how you would see dust on an IR camera. It often runs on a one-track path and has a somewhat dull look to it. The orb we captured has a glow and a pulsating quality. Plus, as it takes off, it is sort of wavy in an up and down motion.
On that filing cabinet behind Lance, basically in the view that he's looking at on the camera now, we set up another night vision camera. And the other time, I don't even know what it was around 10,
11 o'clock, 10:30, yeah.
And Lance was in that room with that camera. And
Yeah, he was out
voice
here.
recorder, and Ryan was sitting in that chair, and I again was loving life in the quiet in the back corner by myself. And I had a video camera and a voice recorder as well. And what happened was Ryan got up and walked in and pulled the batteries out of the clock.
We got
because
something.
It was pretty loud at
Okay.
that point. So have you ever had anything like that where like the clock runs out of batteries or stops working on a regular basis? Have you found that? The clock that sits in there and goes,
the one over here?
yeah.
No
Have you
way.
had that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can believe that. And so,
Well, they say it pulls energy from electrical.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So if you notice that
Yeah.
clock,
Well, that clock goes with batteries like maybe every 4 or 5 months.
yeah, which is
Which is-
ridiculously
yeah.
fast
Yeah,
considering
yeah.
a clock probably
Yeah.
takes like a couple of
Nothing.
years to go through it.
Yeah.
So that that is one thing that you may want to just change to a quieter clock.
Yeah.
With Matt not knowing what we captured yet, we were curious to ask him about the clock, and his confirmation of battery issues only validated the evidence we had. Here was his reaction.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah, I'll have to get rid of that clock.
The time where we watched the first EVP we got when we listened to audio was We Love You.
To the ghost.
But then,
I love
yeah,
it too.
yeah, to the Ghost, We Love You too, yes. But then to connect that with the orb coming off of that couch was, we had to take deep breaths.
And then come back and unprompted, I mean, I guess we asked Matt, you know, does anything happen to the clock? But he's like, oh yeah, all the time. You know, it dies really quickly.
Yeah, we didn't know, and that's what something we really wanted to ask him when we came back. We told ourselves we have to ask him if he has troubles with that clock, and for it to change batteries for them to have to change batteries every 4 months. One more time, here's the whole clip in its entirety.
How did you die? It's me walking. Me, for purposes of the night, taking this battery out of this clock because it's annoying as fuck.
Was this the Confederate soldier Matt said the former president of the Steelworkers Union saw, basically thanking us because we took the battery out of the annoying clock? Was he sitting in that chair the entire time we were up there? Did he mind us invading his territory? All relevant questions we pondered after seeing and hearing this evidence. Believe it or not, a couple of these questions would be answered as the night went on, because whatever spirit was talking to us wasn't quite done.